Mark chapter 2 verse 1 begins with the statement, "And again he entered Capernaum after some days, and it was heard that he was in the house." At first glance, this verse may appear to be a simple narrative detail, but within it lies profound significance that demands our attention. The phrase, "he entered Capernaum," is not just a geographical note, it is a declaration of the King's presence. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, was entering into a place where his power and authority would be unmistakably demonstrated. Capernaum was more than just a town. It was the epicenter of much of Jesus' earthly ministry. When it says, "And it was heard that he was in the house," this was not merely a casual rumor. The presence of Christ in that house would soon be the catalyst for a revelation of divine authority that would challenge all who witnessed it. The question that immediately arises is, what will happen when the King enters the house? The answer is found in the unfolding of events that follow in this chapter, where Jesus reveals his authority to forgive sins and heal the sick. This verse beckons us to consider the implications of Christ's presence in our own lives. When Jesus is in the house, everything changes. His presence is not a passive one, it demands a response. The people in Capernaum flocked to see him because they recognized that where Jesus is, there is power, there is truth, and there is life. The question is, do we recognize the same? Are we aware that Jesus, who is alive and reigning, desires to enter the house of our hearts and our lives? Furthermore, the house mentioned here can also be seen as a symbol of the church. When Christ is truly present in the church, his authority is evident. There can be no compromise, no wavering in the proclamation of his truth. Just as the people of Capernaum gathered to witness what Jesus would do, so too should we gather with expectant hearts, knowing that his power is at work among us. But there is a stark warning as well. In Matthew chapter 11, verses 23 through 24, Jesus later rebukes Capernaum, saying, "And you, Capernaum, who are exalted to heaven, will be brought down to Hades. For if the mighty works which were done in you had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. But I say to you that it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom in the day of judgment than for you." The very place that witnessed so much of Christ's ministry was also a place of great accountability. They had seen, they had heard, and yet many did not truly believe. This compels us to reflect. We, who have the full revelation of Scripture, who have seen the evidence of Christ's work in our own lives and in the lives of others, are we truly submitting to his authority? Or are we like Capernaum, witnessing his power but failing to be transformed by it? The presence of Christ is not something to take lightly. It is a presence that demands our total surrender, our complete obedience, and our unwavering faith. Mark chapter 2 verse 1 is a call to recognize the weight of Christ's presence. It is a reminder that when Jesus is in the house, there is no room for indifference. We must either submit to his authority or face the consequences of rejecting it. The question we must ask ourselves is simple yet profound. Is Jesus in the house of our lives? And if he is, are we living in a way that reflects his sovereign rule?